Male readers buy 30% fewer books than female readers, but they spend 40% more per purchase. That's not a problem to fix. That's a different buying psychology to understand. Most authors approach male readers by writing books for men, when what successful authors actually do is understand how men discover, evaluate, and purchase books. And it has almost nothing to do with genre or content, and everything to do with recommendation pathways that most authors completely miss. If you're wondering why your book isn't reaching male readers despite having male protagonists or action-heavy plots, you're solving the wrong problem. The authors who successfully build male readership aren't the ones writing stereotypically masculine content. They're the ones who understood something fundamental about how men find and buy books. Male readers don't browse bookstores the same way. They don't discover new authors through the same channels. And they definitely don't respond to the same marketing messages. In this video, we're breaking down what research reveals about male reading patterns and how to build authentic marketing strategies that actually work. And if you find this analysis helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We analyze what actually works in publishing every single week. Here's what the data reveals about how men actually discover and purchase books. The average male reader buys books based on specific recommendations, not browsing. When researchers track purchasing behavior, they find that nearly 70% of male book purchases come from direct recommendations from trusted sources, compared to 40% for female readers. That's not a small difference. That's a completely different discovery pathway. But here's where most authors get this wrong. They assume recommendation means word of mouth from friends, when what the research actually shows is that men define trusted sources much more broadly. A podcast host they've listened to for years, a newsletter writer in their professional field, a YouTube creator who reviews their hobby equipment. The book recommendation is secondary to the trust relationship. Successful authors who build male readership understand this pattern and work backward from it. Instead of trying to get their book in front of male readers directly, they focus on getting their book recommended by sources male readers already trust. That might mean podcast outreach in completely non-literary spaces. That might mean professional networking and LinkedIn presence. That might mean understanding which YouTube channels their target readers watch, even if those channels have nothing to do with books. Here's what one thriller author discovered when she mapped where her male readers actually came from. Less than 5% found her through traditional book marketing channels like Goodreads or book blogs. The majority came from 3 sources. A military history podcast where the host mentioned her book once in a side comment, a business leadership newsletter that featured it in a roundup of decision-making books, and a firearms training YouTube channel where the instructor recommended it to students interested in tactical thinking. None of those were literary channels. All of them were trusted voices to her target readers. This is where smart authors start thinking about tools like MINS for tracking. When you're doing outreach in non-traditional channels, you need to know which partnerships actually drive sales. Instead of giving each podcast or newsletter a different discount code to remember, successful authors create unique QR codes that update automatically. Same code in every interview, but the destination tracks the source. The analytics show exactly which channels convert. Father's Day represents the second largest book gifting holiday after Christmas, but the purchasing psychology is completely different. And understanding that difference is what separates campaigns that work from campaigns that waste money. Research on Father's Day book purchases reveals something counterintuitive. The majority of Father's Day books are purchased by women buying for the men in their lives. That means your marketing message isn't necessarily for your reader. It's for someone trying to find the perfect gift for a reader. The successful Father's Day campaigns aren't the ones that say this book is great for dads. They're the ones that solve the gift giver's problem of finding something meaningful that won't sit unread. Here's what this looks like in practice. A science fiction author wanted to position her space opera trilogy for Father's Day. Instead of marketing it as an adventure for dads, she reframed it entirely around the gift-giving experience. Her messaging focused on complete story in one purchase, something he can finish over summer weekends, and conversation starter for families who don't usually talk about books. She wasn't selling science fiction. She was selling a solution to the annual struggle of finding a Father's Day gift that feels personal without being sentimental. The timing of Father's Day campaigns matters more than authors realize. The data shows that Father's Day gift purchasing peaks between May 15th and June 5th, with a sharp drop-off in the final week before the holiday. That's completely different from Christmas, where last-minute shopping dominates. Father's Day shoppers are planning ahead, which means your campaign needs to be visible and compelling a full month before the holiday, not 2 weeks. But here's the pattern that separates one-time Father's Day sales from long-term male reader acquisition. The most successful authors use Father's Day as an entry point, not a destination. They include materials in the book that make it easy for the gift recipient to find more of their work. A QR code that links to a reader's guide, a bookmark with a code for a free short story, something that converts the gift into a relationship. One historical fiction author did this brilliantly. Every Father's Day sale included a bookmark with a QR code she could update throughout the year. In June, it pointed to behind-the-scenes content about the historical research. In September, she updated it to a preview chapter of the next book. In December, a holiday discount for the series. Same physical bookmark in hundreds of Father's Day gifts, but the experience evolved based on when the reader scanned it. Tools like Mins make this kind of long-term relationship building seamless, because you're not managing dozens of different codes or hoping readers remember a URL months later. Real quick, have you ever printed something with a QR code and then realized the link was wrong? Yeah, let me save you from that. You just published book 3, but the QR code in book 1 still only shows book 1. Mins lets you update it to display your full series, one code that grows with you. www.mins.at. Your book deserves a QR code that actually works. Now, let's keep going. The difference between a Father's Day sale and a male reader who buys everything you write comes down to understanding how men engage with authors and stories long term. And the patterns are completely different from general reader engagement strategies. Research on male reader loyalty reveals something crucial. Men are significantly more likely to binge read an author's entire backlist once they commit to the first book, but they're also more likely to never return if the first experience doesn't deliver. The stakes of that first reader experience are higher. When successful authors study their male reader retention, they find that providing clear series information, immediate access to the next book, and straightforward purchasing paths matters enormously. This is where a lot of authors lose male readers without realizing it. A man finishes your book, loves it, wants the next one, and has to work to figure out what to read next. Is this part of a series? What order do they go in? Where can he buy them? Every point of friction is a potential exit point. The authors who retain male readers ruthlessly eliminate that friction. Here's what one fantasy author implemented that transformed her male readership from one-time buyers to series completionists. At the end of every book, she included a single-page series guide with a QR code. Scan it and you immediately see the complete series in order, current pricing, and direct purchase links for your preferred retailer. No hunting, no confusion, no friction between I want more and I have more. But the long-term engagement goes beyond just making purchasing easy. Male readers are highly engaged in niche communities around their interests, but those communities don't always look like traditional book communities. Successful authors find where their target male readers already gather and provide value there. That might mean participating in Reddit communities about the topics your book explores. That might mean engaging thoughtfully on LinkedIn if you write business or professional development content. That might mean understanding Discord servers or Slack communities in your genre's niche. The key insight is that male readers are looking for expertise and depth, not just entertainment. When you can position yourself as knowledgeable about the world your book explores, whether that's military history, technology, business strategy, or adventure sports, you're building credibility that transcends the book itself. You become a trusted voice, and then your recommendations, including your own books, carry weight. Marketing to male readers isn't about writing masculine content or avoiding emotional storytelling. It's about understanding that men discover, evaluate, and purchase books through different pathways than general readers, and meeting them where they actually are. Here's your action plan. Map where your target male readers actually spend their time online and offline, focusing on non-literary spaces built around shared interests. Identify 3 trusted voices in those spaces and develop genuine relationships before pitching your book. If you're planning a Father's Day campaign, launch it by mid-May and frame your messaging around solving the gift giver's problem, not just describing your book. Then build systems that eliminate friction between a male reader finishing your book and immediately accessing the next one. If you found this analysis helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We put out new content every week analyzing what actually works in publishing. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's been your biggest challenge reaching male readers? And if you want these strategies delivered straight to your inbox every week, subscribe to our newsletter. The sign-up link is in the description, and if you're serious about building long-term relationships with readers across all demographics, check out Mins. Dynamic QR codes let you create reader materials once and update them forever, so the bookmark you include in Father's Day gifts can evolve with your strategy for the next 20 years. Same physical materials, different destinations, complete analytics on what drives engagement. Head to mins.at to get started. Male readers are looking for trusted recommendations and frictionless experiences. Provide both, and you'll build one of the most loyal audiences in publishing.